Welcome to In the Groove. In the Groove is a series of podcasts presented by Xombiewoof Magazine. Interviews with artists, musicians, and the people you want to hear and know more about. Now join our host, Joseph Timmons, in interview this week. Hi, this is Joseph Timmons with Xombiewoof Magazine, and we're here at the Anaheim Convention Center for the 2015 NAMM Convention. We're covering it, and right now I am sitting next to one of the founding fathers of modern progressive rock, Adrian Belew. If you're familiar with his work, he has played with some of the greats, Frank Zappa, King Crimson. He has developed the schema of transcendental music that just breaks all barriers. He has pretty much influenced every artist you're hearing today. And he is continuing that with a new software he's developed for Apple called FLUX FX. Now this software, from what I understand, Adrian, will take music that you channel through and allow you to totally warp it, modify it, change it to any variant that you want. So can you just go ahead and give us a rundown of how the software operates?
Well, as you say, you could take any sound, so it could be something, it could be a drum track, it could be a keyboard part, it could be a voice, a guitar. It's not just guitar. You could even run a whole mix through it. You have 30 different effects you can put on it, but what makes it interesting is, I'll show you this, the effects change depending on where you move this little dot. And they can change lots and lots of different parameters, which you decide upon. So the combination is endless as to how many things.
So it is not only audio, it's tactile.
Yeah, it is. And also there's a really high-powered sequencer that goes with it, with which you can press the sequencer. And now you see all those things running. Those are changes I wrote in just by fooling with it. And the sequencer remembered those changes. And so now it'll do that anytime I want it to do that. Hundreds of different sounds are available all the time. And it's a nice big edit page here where you can go in and get really fine-tuned with any of the things you want. You can really fine-tune everything, get it exactly what you want it to be. And as I say, it's very easy to operate up here. You've got the 30 effects running up the top. You just decide, I want this one, and you just put it in a window. Okay, then you decide if it's going to be on all the time, or is it going to be controlled by this, or how's that going to work? Then you go in, you edit what you want it to do, and you name it something very easily, like this. Now you save it, and it's named, but I don't want to do that. And that's it. And you got hundreds of sounds.
Looking back at your career, to get sounds to change and develop through the course of performance, you would have to hook up distortion pedals, wah pedals, any variant amount of equipment, which, a lot of artists still do today. Now, is this just an additional tool in that repertoire, or are you looking to create an app that will allow you to give that modification post-performance when person's mixing it down?
It's for both. I do use it on stage now. We just finished a tour of the United States with my trio, and I used it live on stage. I had it right here beside me, and whenever I touched it with my finger, the guitar would do all kinds of wild stuff, and the audience would go, woo! So it's very good for that kind of thing. It's because you see someone doing something. It's different than if it were pre-programmed. It's one thing I've learned about devices. They have to see that you're bending the neck. You can't just have that sampled or something.
Right.
So it's to answer your question, I think it has so many different uses, but it's very different from the world of guitar effects, which there are so many, boxes and pedal boards and all these different things. This is actually not trying to do that at all. It's a different way. Because of the way you operate it, it will do things that you cannot possibly do with any number of pedals because of the operation of this, which is that you're combining portions of all these different sounds with your fingertip. So because of that, it's a whole new animal. Okay. For me, it's another great big color toolbox.
What gave you the inspiration to start Flux FX, to design it and to create it?
Well, I'm going to have to go back to the beginning of the story if you want. I've been designing this idea called music that is never the same twice. It's called FLUX music. And I've been working on it for 5 years. Every time you play this half an hour of music, it's different. I can show you that in a second too if you want. And the visual's different and everything. In order to do that, I had to link up with a software corporation, a company. And I met some people in Amsterdam, Holland, who I thought were just perfect for this. Young, bright guys who know a lot about my music and know a lot about what you can do with this kind of, all this kind of technology. So they started first doing the music for FLUX, the FLUX music app. But almost right off the bat, they said, we also love to do like an effects app with you. We think you're perfect for that. Because, that's kind of what you're known for, is disruptive and strange and interesting sounds. So I said, well, okay, then let's do them both. So over the last 2 years, they've been designing this. So they've designed all that, this thing. And they also designed FLUX Music. I'll show you that now, too. FLUX Music was an idea that I had since 1978, where you have music that's never the same twice. It's always changing.
So you had to wait for the technology to
I
catch
had
up
to
with your
wait for
innovation.
technology. So this is FLUX Music, FLUX by Belew, and it's never the same twice. So what happens? The screen's going to come on like this, and it's not going to be the same screen necessarily. It changes all the time, too. Let me make sure I've got some volume here. And when you press it, what's going to happen is a half an hour worth of music and visuals are going to happen. It's all music that I wrote and created. It's not generated by a computer or anything else. But what the computer is going to do is randomize it to such a degree that there will never be, this half an hour of music will never be the same twice.
So it's in its own way organic.
Yeah, it's living. Okay, so it's a living thing. Now, it's going to change at any time to something else. And the visuals are never the same twice either. Okay? Now, it's going to change again any second. I don't know when. No one knows when. There's hundreds of songs and pieces of music in here. And every time it changes, it's a different thing. You can press a favorite button down here, and it will save that to a playlist. So if I press this favorite button, it'll save this track to a playlist. I can go back and listen to it anytime I want without it being randomized. Also, if I didn't like this particular thing, go like that, it goes on to the next thing. And there are some of my paintings in here, and watch this. You can actually manipulate them. You can do anything you want
So the
with it.
software has its own presence.
Yeah. And then what you can do is take a picture of it. There you go. And that goes into a file too, called
Save
My
the
Flux.
screen.
And you have, you build up your own little art gallery of things that you basically created from what we put in here.
So Flux FX, in a way, gives the user an opportunity to do the same thing you've done here with their own music.
Yeah, and the way that I like to think of it is that Flux Effects is the paintbrush, and this Flux Music is the painting.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Again,
And as I said, there's hundreds of things in here, so you could listen forever and never quite get the same exact sequence of events.
well, it's like you're...
Even though the songs come back, and they come back in different forms, and they come back in different mixes, but you're never going to get them in the same order and with the same visuals and everything. That'll never happen.
Well, it's like some of your performances when we see the early videos. You could listen to the song you perform one day and you perform it the next day at a concert, and there are subtle variants because you
is
go with
very
the
much
emotion
like-
of the music.
It is very much like a live performance in its sense. I mean, this is performing on its own, and this is a live performance for you because you're creating it, and it's never going to be the same. The reason I say it's never going to be the same, you remember we had the XY screen, right? Mm-hmm. Wherever you put your finger and move that dot around is going to change a number of different sounds. How are you ever going to do that exactly the same way?
The same coordinates.
Well, the one way you can do it is to record it into the sequencer, and then you can get something like the same thing. So it's very Flux-ish.
So you can have a chaotic variant, or you can have an ordered variant, depending on if you put it into the processor correctly.
Yes, just like this, my new music. You can have the randomized version, which surprises you. You never know what's going to happen, and it's never the same. Or you can save the bits that you like and play them whenever you want, like it was a normal CD or a playlist that you have in your computer.
Wow.
And as I said, and the other thing about Flux music that I have to say, it's true about Flux effects as well, but it's never done. Mm-hmm. This is music that's never done because I can add new stuff to it anytime I want. I have this little computer system called a CMS, Content Management System, and I can add in anything I want to this. Now, here's another thing I didn't show you, information page. Comes up and it has, there you go, it has the lyrics. Then it has all the studio notes, what we did, what instruments were played, how I did this, how I did that. It has any backstory or anything. I can also add that kind of stuff in as much as I want. So to me, it's an artistic platform that I can use now for the rest of my life to continually add what I'm doing that's new. And the beauty of it, it doesn't have to be 3-minute songs, 4-minute songs. It can be any little thing that I like. Like some of those sounds in there you heard were just like this flash of, what is that, you know? Mm-hmm. That's what I like Flux to be.
It's like paint on a canvas.
Yeah,
it's
just
like
boom,
color.
and then it's the next thing, and it's the next thing. Because I believe that people nowadays, because of Google and the world of the internet and TV commercials and other things, I believe we've all got very small attention spans. And we're used to getting things in quick, sharp, random, kind of, here it is, boom, boom, boom. That's how we're used to getting things now. Information. We process information that way, whether we realize it or not. But musically, no one's doing that.
Then
musically, we're still doing, the same format, verse, chorus, guitar solo that we've been doing for 60 years. So this isn't my attempt to kind of take music in a different direction. And you still have the other things. I'm going to still make songs that are 5 minutes long, but I also want to do something that is always surprising and different. So that's what these two devices are. They go hand in hand. They're by the same people, and they're sort of brainchilds of mine.
So for those of you that fear change, this may not be for you.
Yeah, if you fear
However,
change.
for the aspiring musician or the studio or the professional that wants to enhance their performance level or their studio level, I would definitely suggest that you look at the Flux FX software available for the iPad. Can this also work on an iPhone?
Flux Effects works on an iPad because of the screen size. Flux Music, which is called FLUX by Belew, works on both.
Mm-hmm. And they're both available through the Apple Store?
They are. The music app, which is hundreds of bits of music I've recorded for 5 years and continue to record, is $9.99. The Flux Effects app, which you can get thousands and thousands of sounds that it would take thousands and thousands of dollars worth of gear to do otherwise, is $20.
Wow. And I believe I heard you mention that it was available for $15 during the NAMM show?
During NAMM, Flux Effects at the iTunes Store is $15. Yeah.
Now, NAMM ends on Sunday, so I would say that if you're going to get Flux FX,
save yourself $5.
Get it tomorrow, get it Sunday, but whatever you do, get it. This is Joseph Timmons with Xombiewoof Magazine and the Indie Group podcast series. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Adrian, for giving us this opportunity. In the Groove and the series of videos are sponsored by MXL, the future of audio technology available today in microphones and studio recording. Adrian, you have a great NAMM, and if there's an opportunity for us to get together again in the future, I would love that.
I would love it too. Thank you so much. I hope my explanations weren't too crazy because it's so much to say.
Favorite album, Three of a Perfect Pair. Check it out.
The guitar solo in Three of a Perfect Pair, I can do stuff like that with Flux effects.
There you go.
I could never do that before.
You can be like Adrian Belew.
I wouldn't say that. I don't know if you want to be like
Well,
Adrian Belew.
got to give a glimmer of hope, don't you think?
Sure. What the heck? Why not? I'll tell you what, it's made a lot easier with Flux effects.
There you go.
Dude, stuff just pours out of it. It's like, wow, how did I do that?
You have a great day.
Yeah.
We'll catch you with the next video.
Bye.
You have been listening to In the Groove. In the Groove, sponsored by Xombiewoof Magazine. You can find out more on our podcasts at this station or at our website, http://www.xombiewoof.com, spelled XOMBIEWOOF.com. You can also find us at our blog, xombiewoof.blogspot.com, as well as on Twitter, Instagram, and all social media at Xombiewoof. Thank you, and tune in for the next interview next week.
Round the world and home again, that's the sailor's way. Faster, 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 faster.